Hi there, it's Leo from Firecrawl, and in this video, we'll take a look at how you can build lovable apps by using the Firecrawl APIs. In fact, this right here is a recent project that we've built, which allows us to add a CSV file. That file can be seen in the interface. Then if you scroll down to the Actions panel, you can click on the play button, which will trigger the agent to go on and populate this entire row. It seems like it's done. So as you can see, it doesn't only extract data, it also reasons on that data to figure out, for example, if Resend is a B2B company, if it uses AI, and furthermore. I can also just click on download CSV, and that CSV generated can be saved to my computer. If I want to add a different row, change all of these cells, like for example, I can add XAI, hit enter, it's there. I can click now to find that data on XAI. If I want to check the response from the agent, I could just click this button. I can delete different rows. There's a bunch of different things we can do. It's just amazing to see how much can be done with an AI agent empowered by a data API such as Firecrawl. So let's take a look at how you could build something similar to this. We'll be building two projects. One is a more simple project, which is a URL Brand SEO Analyzer. Ideally, the user will just input a URL, and from that URL, Firecrawl should be able to go over, grab the branding, grab the summary, check the markdown, and get some SEO analysis as well. Then we're going to create a topic trend tracker. And the way this one will work is you'll be able to type in something like Claude Code. It'll have the agent go and research the entire web to understand how the given topic is trending throughout the last 14 days. Before moving forward, I'd advise that people build this step by step. So the very first prompt for the CSV enricher is an overall instruction of what the app is about. Initially, it didn't have all these action buttons, nor did it have add rows, the run all button. But while testing the app, it just seemed like a good approach to have these specific features. So there's really no need to overthink it and aim for a single prompt that produces everything, because iterations are part of the build process and is very important. Let's go. My first prompt is this one. Create a brand analysis website. It should have an input field for the URL and use Firecrawl's scrape endpoint to gather the branding format, summary, markdown, etc. Everything returned from the fetch should be structured and displayed with a clean neo-brutalist interface, using orange as the primary color. Let me hit enter and describe a bit more of this prompting, because I usually like to start off the prompt by giving it the entire context, then being a bit more specific onto what and how the project will work in a perspective of the user. So the user will see this. The user should expect that. Even the way that I phrase this, I'm not telling it to specifically use one single fetch, but I say that everything returned from the fetch should be structured and displayed. So ideally, it should aim to make one single fetch to the agent endpoint from Firecrawl. But along with that, I'm also talking about the structure. And now on Lovable side, we need to enable cloud. So just click on allow. And the way you can go about enabling cloud is that Lovable creates the front end for us as well as the back end, but it doesn't host that backend on its own server. It's actually using Supabase edge functions to execute backend tasks. And since we do need to execute that because of Firecrawl, it'll ask us to enable cloud. Now it asks us to enable Firecrawl. And this is a way for us to not have to go over to Firecrawl and fetch for its API key, then come back here, instruct it our API key. No. And actually, by doing it like this, you get free tokens for Firecrawl. All right, seems like it's done. I absolutely love this design. So built with Firecrawl, neo-brutalist design, analyze any brand identity. Let's place in firecrawl.dev to see if it's correctly using the Firecrawl API, which, by the way, for this example, it should just be scrape. Okay, that was fairly fast, and this is the data that we got. So typography, fonts used, Firecrawl. There are actually tabs. So summary, content, this is probably the markdown, links. All right, this is really, really cool. The most incredible part about building these type of apps is uniting design with data. And there's just so much possibilities on what can be built with this. This was a single prompt. I could iterate and make it use this to actually produce the SEO content. So just send all this to a different model or even use the agent endpoint from Firecrawl to produce that SEO data. But for now, honestly, I love what was built here. And by the way, this prompt will be in the description of the video just in case you need it. Okay, so we got this out of the way. Now, the next build is a topic trend tracker. My prompt for it is fairly large, so I won't read through it because it'll probably be a bit boring. But overall, this explains what the app is about, and I give it a quick example of how it would work. So the user would type in Firecrawl, AI agents, Claude, basically a topic, and then what needs to be outputted. I then specify that it should do only one fetch to Firecrawl's agent. And then down here, I get a little bit more specific on how I want that data to be outputted, as well as some specific design hints on how I'd like it to look like. Okay, should be good to go. So let me hit enter. Let's again click to enable Cloud, as well as add the Firecrawl connector. All right, seems like it's done. It took around 4 to 5 minutes, and the design looks great as always. There's this nice effect on the logo here. The new morphism design is on point. Let's type in something like Claude code because I know this has been trending fairly a lot in the last days. Okay, we got the first error, so analysis failed. Let me click to show logs. It's an edge function error. Let's just let Lovable take care of that for us. So just click on try to fix and wait for it to handle that for us. Okay, now that it seems like it's fixed, let's click to analyze again and just wait for the agent response. All right, so it seems we got a timeout error. And the reason why is because we're triggering an actual agent to go and research the entire web to find all of the data around a specific topic. This takes time. The way AI agents usually build this is using polling, which is Lovable sends a request to Firecrawl. So Firecrawl sends back a response, which is, okay, I'm on it. But then polling is basically Lovable going over to Firecrawl and asking, are we done yet? And Firecrawl answering, not yet. Then, are we done yet? Nope. Are we done yet? And this runs for a defined period. After that period, we get a timeout error on Lovable side. A way we can solve that is through events. So you can send a request from Lovable to Firecrawl and say, hey, whenever you're done, send me back a request in this specific endpoint. Alternatively, what we can do is whenever we send a request to Firecrawl, we do get a response back with the ID that we should use to fetch again inside of Firecrawl for the status of the agent response. Instead of having our Lovable website automatically search for that, we can just hold that ID and let the user decide whenever they want to go over to Firecrawl and fetch for the agent response. And this is my prompt for that. So instead of using polling, hold the agent ID in a button that the user can click to fetch for the agent's response and populate the interface. Also, do not use extract. The correct endpoint is agent. And that's because after reading this response, it seems like it changed over to extract instead of continuing to use the agent endpoint. Send your message, hit enter, and let it cook. Nice. So now we see this card that just basically says agent is analyzing Claude code. If we click to fetch result, it's doing exactly like I explained here, just checking Firecrawl to see if the agent got a response or not. Eventually, at some point, when you click to fetch results, it should find the response from the agent and structure all that for us pretty neatly here. This is absolutely amazing. And what just made this result even more surprising for me is that if you check January 9th, you see that it's kind of down, right? In Google Trends. Then eventually it rises, falls back down, and then rises again, which is exactly what happens here in what we generated with 5 prompts. We also get a nice summary, key insights, related topics. So the Opus 4.5 model, which is pretty recent, vibe coding as the term, GitHub Copilot, MCP, and yeah, overall related topics. Down here, there's the top sources related to Claude. Again, like this design is also on point, but just being able to get this result in a single API fetch is pretty amazing. And that concludes our video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if this video helped you at all. Consider subscribing for more, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. Till then.